Hello! Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I asked on Twitter and Facebook if you guys wanted me to do a video on pigment, and I got a few people who said that they did. They thumbs it up on Facebook, so I thought that I would do a video for you guys. So pigments, I know from experience, are and can be very daunting, can be very intimidating. But to be honest with you, if you follow the tips that I have for you guys today, I think that it will be pretty easy. They will be pretty easy to use. So for me, I started out the wrong way, to be honest, with pigments because I started out with colors. And to be honest, they were the ones that I did back to math with, that I showed you guys not long ago. I've had those pigments forever, and I've maybe used them twice, if that. To be honest, my suggestion to you guys, if you want to delve into pigments, go neutral. And if you're someone who is just starting out, it can be extremely intimidating. I know from experience. um, so if you go with neutral shades, then you are number one, more likely to use them more. And number two, they're just going to be shades that you can use with anything. You know, whether you're doing a smoky eye, whether you're doing a colorful eye, whatever. You can use neutral shades with anything. So you will get a lot of mileage out of neutral pigments. So as you guys know, I bought a new set of pigments from MAC. This is part of their Christmas um, selection. So in this set, you get 4 different shades, and I'll link the video below that I did that kind of went through all the shades that are in here. I'm not going to waste time doing that right now. There is one in here that I'm going to refer to though, and it is this one, Naked. If you get one pigment in your life, get Naked. Naked or Tan, I think, are the two by far that you will probably use forever and a day. Because they're neutral, because you can do so much with these. And you might think, even with this one, with Naked, I mean, it's kind of like a milky type color. You might think, you can't really do anything with this because there's no color to it. Quite the opposite, you can do so much because if you get into a situation where maybe you're doing a smoky eye, for example, and you've just gone too far with it, you can use that pigment, for example, to kind of blend out the color, and it literally will fade out the color for you, um, and help to kind of blend out, harsh edges, that kind of thing. If you're just wanting something to help blend out harsh edges, that's a perfect way to go. If you want something to just kind of make a more neutral look to the eye, again, if it's something that you've used too much color, or you've gone maybe too far with it and you need something to kind of neutralize it, that's a perfect way to go as well. And on the flip side, they add color too. I mean, even if you went with a neutral, I'm wearing pigments right now, and they happen to be 2 shades from this palette, and it's a gold on my lid, and then I went with the darkest shade in here, in the crease, and I believe it's this one, in the crease. And so again, I mean, you can do so much with these, just, even with two shades that I used today. It's, they're awesome, I think. And on top of that, you can use them wet or dry. Um, what I would recommend is not to use water with these. I have heard of some people using water with them. That's a big no-no, because what happens is when they dry, it kind of, two things, it kind of gets a little clumpy on the eye, and it can flake off in pieces, and it doesn't feel good with water. Um, as it dries, because it just kind of gets hard. It feels a little bit different with any kind of medium that you use, let's be honest, because it's a different, turning into a different texture. But with using it with water, it'll be kind of pasty too, and it won't sit right on the eyes. You'll also probably get a ton of fallout with it, and it will just turn into a huge mess that you don't really want. So I would go the route of a mixing medium, which I believe you can get at MAC. I think they do sell them. There was a gal that I was talking with tonight, that she thought they're at the bigger pro stores, and she thinks you can also get them online too. I will double check online to see if you can. I know the pro store that we have here in Ottawa, they don't have it, but I believe it's just because it's a smaller store and they only have, so much stock. But the one that I got was from Stila, and it's the same one that they sell with their metallic shadows. They sell it as a duo. You can also get it on its own. So I just got it on its own, and so it just depends which one you want. But I mean, a mixing medium is a mixing medium. It's, they're all the same. So yeah, it just depends which one you go for. Um, so once you have the mixing medium, you can also, I've heard, use eye drops. I haven't tried that myself. This is actually the mixing medium that I got from Stila. You can also use, I don't know if I've mentioned this yet, you can also use Fix Plus, because it does have, what's it called, silicone, I think, in it, and that will help the pigments to kind of adhere to your lid. But again, I would not go the route of water. So just depending what you've got, and depending on your price the price point you want to go, you can also use something like if you wanted to go like a spray, you could use something like the L'Oreal, what's it called? The L'Oreal face spray, setting spray. You could use that too if you wanted something just kind of cheaper. The Stila and the MAC, I believe, are both around the same price. I think they're like 23, 24 bucks, I believe. So again, it just depends what you're looking for, but I would not go the route of water, my personal opinion, if I were you. So then, that's how to use them or mix them. So then with brushes, what I would do is I typically use any or all of brushes. So we have in here, this is kind of a smudger brush called, yeah, eyeshadow smudger brush. So this I would tend to use on the lower lash line, or if you want to do the upper lash line as well, the liner. If you want to just like a soft kind of smudgy look, I would use a brush like this. And again, use it wet as well. For packing the pigment onto the lid, I would use a brush like this, a flat brush, which is, what's the name of this thing? Definer Shadow Brush. That's what this is, and it's just more of a flat brush. I also have one from Essence too. It's a flat brush as well, and it works well with that. I use that one typically though for my paint pot. But something like this would work for the pigment. Then if you want to kind of blend it out a bit, like if you're doing color in the crease, for example, you could use a crease blender brush. Use something kind of big and fluffy. Um, yeah, something kind of big and fluffy because it will help to sort of diffuse the color as well. If you wanted to do more of like a cut crease type thing, I didn't have a brush for that. Actually, something like this for a cut crease might work. This is actually a eyebrow brush, but to use something like the end of that to just define the crease may work. But you want something just thin and I don't have anything else here. Yeah, you want something just kind of fine and thin to really kind of create that line and to define it. So something like this may work for that. And then also for what is this for? Oh, this was for, I just pulled another eyeliner brush for if you wanted to do an eyeliner with the pigment. This is just another example of what type of brush to use. This one is actually really good too for the lower lash line because of the angle. You can kind of angle it down to really kind of get in there to get the lower lash line. So that's a good one to have. That's from Smashbox too. The other these three silver guys, these are all Joe Fresh brushes. And then the black one that I showed was a Still Spa Essentials brush. And then this is an accent brush from Real Technique. And you can also use pigments for brightening. So use them in the inner corner and kind of in the inner part of your lids as well, like towards the nose. You can use pigments to kind of brighten the whole look, especially if you're going for like a smoky or smudgy kind of look. You definitely want that brightness on the inner corners. So this is a good brush for that too because it's very small and you can get, right in there and place it where you want to place it. So that's kind of my rundown for pigments. Um, but I mean, don't be afraid to use pigments. To be honest with you, treat them as eyeshadows. Pigments really are, um, not solid versions, obviously, but they are versions of eyeshadows. They're more kind of vibrant versions of eyeshadows. Basically, is all they are. They're different They're not a solid formulation. They're a different um, way to look at eyeshadow. So basically, treat them as that. Treat them as you normally would a satin taupe or a kitten from Stila. Treat them as you would a regular eyeshadow because you can use them as that as well, depending on how you place them on the eye. So I hope that this video helped you, and please leave any questions or anything below if you have any for me. And also leave uh, ideas for videos as well. I'd like to hear your guys' opinions on what videos you'd like to see in the new year, and I will see you in the next one.